What's going on? I'm going to be checking out the new eXtremeRate LED kit for Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. They give the Joy-Con LED lights. eXtremeRate was nice enough to send these over to me to make a video on it. Now let's check them out. First off, I'm not being paid to make this, they just sent me some stuff to check out. So I'll have all their links in the description. The first thing is the Joy-Con wrist straps shell replacements. These are a pretty inexpensive way to customize your Switch stuff without having to worry about breaking something. I think they're a good starting point if you are afraid to shell replace your Joy-Con. This way you can get a feel for what it's like to take something apart and put it back together, and they look pretty cool. It was very easy to do, and it only took about 20 minutes. eXtremeRate has a video on how to do this, so I'll have that linked in the description as well. Here they are finished. I think they look awesome with the shell I already have on my Joy-Con, and they complete the look. I like how the color changes and how the blue and purple are different colors than the Joy-Con shell, but they still go together. Now for the LED kit. Here's everything that's included in the box. It actually comes with some really nice screwdrivers. The only other thing you might need is a pair of tweezers for the ribbon cables. Installing these wasn't as easy as the Pro controller, but that's to be expected because the Joy-Cons are a lot more complicated. The directions weren't quite as good as the Pro controller kit either, but they do have a really good video tutorial that I'll have linked in the description as well. This was basically like doing a shell replacement with some extra steps, so if you get these and you plan to do a shell replacement, then I would recommend you to do them both at the same time, as that'll save you a lot of time. I would say that this is the most complicated mod that you can do for the Joy-Con, and at the same time it's the coolest. But as long as you take your time and you watch the tutorial while you're doing it, it's not going to be too bad. I did the right Joy-Con first because I knew it was going to be harder, as it has more stuff in it like the IR camera and the NFC reader. So I just wanted to get the harder part out of the way. It took me about 30 to 45 minutes for the right Joy-Con, and then I moved on to the left one. This one was a little easier as it's just easier to take apart, and it only took me about 25 to 30 minutes. I would suggest you do it the opposite way and start with the left one first, that way you can get used to it. But I've already done a few shell swaps, so I knew that the right one was going to be harder. So you might want to set aside a couple hours if you plan to do this, especially if you haven't taken a Joy-Con apart before. These are a fun thing to do if you just like to tinker with electronics. I think it's really interesting how they figured out how to add the LEDs to the Joy-Cons without replacing the boards, like they did with the Pro controller. Especially because there's not a lot of room in Joy-Cons to begin with. They have two different kits, one's where the buttons are all clear, and then the one that I have here, where it's just the outlines that are clear. The one that's all clear is $27.99, and then this one is $37.99. Not really sure why it's $10 more expensive, so it's up to you whether that's really worth it. Overall, I think they're a fairly decent value as there's nothing else like it on the market, so if you really want something unique, this is it. Here they are finished, and I think they turned out great. I'm very happy with the results. To turn on the RGB, you have to hold down the SL and SR for 5 seconds, and they turn on. Then to change the color, you hold down SL and SR for 1 second and it will change to the next color. There are 7 colors, color cycle, and a flashing color cycle. It unfortunately doesn't have different lighting zones like the Pro Controller version does, so every LED on the Joy-Con changes at the same time. And every time you turn them back on, they go back to red. So you have to cycle back through to the color you want. Here's what they look like on the Switch, and then here's what they look like from the back. Here they are in the dark to show how bright the LEDs are. They're actually pretty bright, a little brighter than I was expecting them to be. I was a little worried that the kit would make the buttons a little less responsive because it covers some of the points on the board a little, but after playing with them for a while, I didn't notice any difference, so that shouldn't be a problem. That was the custom RGB kit for Joy-Cons from eXtremeRate. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and do you plan to pick it up? If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, and subscribe for more tech and gaming content. Thanks for watching.